Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me as always is my girlfriend Carol. How you doing, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
It is March 11th, 1995. And we are doing fine here in the world.
It's actually March 10th, but yes.
It is?
Fine. It is.
Okay.
It is, sir.
It's March 10th today.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to I'm going to pass this tape out tomorrow. Remember?
No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The 90210 tape goes out today. The day we're recording this. So
Which
it goes
is March 9th, actually.
Oh, well, I said March 10th and 90210
No,
tape
you
because you
said
said
March 9th.
it was the 10th. Oh, I did. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Chill
Well, then
out.
it's March 10th.
Chill out.
1995.
When we hand this out, it will be March 10th.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I believe you.
So today,
Yeah, you're right.
we're going to talk. We're always so disoriented. Today, we're going to talk about
No news today.
no news today.
I still haven't gotten the newspaper yet. I need to renew my subscription. We went on
Get
vacation,
on it, man.
and I need to renew my subscription so that we can talk about the news.
Where's the paper boy? He's slacking. He should be hitting you up for money and stuff.
I think he's being chased by death.
Okay.
That's a Paperboy reference for any of you, the video game Paperboy for any of you.
Oh my god.
Unfamiliar.
I remember the Paperboy video game. Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Okay. So, Outbreak.
Yeah.
We saw Outbreak.
Yes. We did see Outbreak. We're not going to talk about Outbreak first, but we saw it.
No, we're going to talk about because unfortunately my so-called life is over.
Do you have anything to say
What?
about anything?
Anything? Anything to say about anything? I have all kinds of things to say about everything.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that, you know, we usually don't stick it right in.
You're looking for a little foreplay?
Yeah, we usually warm people up a little bit first before we just go right into it. How's your week been?
I mean, it's been fine. I've been playing catch up from vacation, so
Yeah.
So,
I it's getting warmer here
yeah.
in Michigan, and I have to put away my my Hugo Boss sweaters, which sucks because I like them. And I've got a nice gray bum equipment sweater.
I get to pull out my favorite t-shirts, co-ed naked volleyball.
Yeah, I know. You like that.
I do. I like anything naked. But it is getting warmer, and unfortunately that means allergies for me, apparently.
Yeah, you've been going nuts.
Oh, it's been ever since we got back from vacation. It's like my face is just full of snot all the time.
Yeah, it's hot.
It is. I'm super hot, people. Don't listen to him.
Your eyes are really red too, and not in the good way.
That's an attractive color of red. Okay.
Not in the good way, like it usually is.
What?
Not in a good cause.
Like
your eyes aren't red for a good reason. Your eyes are red because of allergies.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately.
We need Visine legitimately.
Yeah.
Not to just fool our parents.
It actually burns though, because my eyes are so irritated. The Visine burn.
Ooh.
That's no good.
Right. So, today we watched a TV show. Well, not today, but we watched a TV show this week, and we watched a movie this week, as is tradition.
Yes. We actually watched more than one TV show this week, but we're only going to tell you about one, because we're selfish like that. We keep stuff to ourselves.
Yeah, we don't need everything we watch. We don't need to talk about.
Right.
I watched an episode of Jeopardy.
He watches all the episodes of Jeopardy.
I like Jeopardy.
And he makes me watch them too. I kind of like him. Kind of. I didn't used to, but he's rubbing off on me, and he's making me nerdy.
You like things naked so much, so of course I'm going to be rubbing off.
God. What is wrong with you?
I don't know. Anyway, so we watched Boy Meets World.
Yes, we did.
He met the world again in this episode. This reminds me of Bless You. Bless you.
Oh, fuck you.
Bless you.
I was going to sneeze and now I can't. I hate you.
It's better that you don't sneeze all over the microphone. Although I guess that is your microphone.
It is mine and only mine.
But anyway, so
I'll pee on it.
he Wow. Okay.
Nobody touches my microphone.
So anyway, we watched Boy Meets World and he met the world. You know, I think they called it this. I think they call it Boy Meets World because I have determined now that that Corey, I think his name is Ben Savage.
Yes, sir.
And
Sean
Hunter. I've determined that they're aliens.
What?
That don't understand anything about our world, and that's why it's called Boy Meets World. it's like it's like they're not human.
Yeah, sometimes. I did not love them in this episode.
They're so dumb.
I've seen better episodes where they come off better than this.
They're just really dumb.
But I mean, they're middle school aged boys. That's what they are.
Yeah. So the show opens with them throwing a football in the hallway of their school for some reason.
Because they're really cool.
And Corey's like, hey, you know, go long or whatever. And then in like just the worst aim ever, it looks like he intentionally just hits Frankie and Joey, I think.
Sure.
The fat one and the thin one.
The Stooges.
Yeah, the fat one is a pretty good actor, actually. I kind of like him. Although I'll tell you, he needs to hit the gym and start working out and get into like really, really buff shape. I think that's his ideal body.
Why are you checking out this guy's body so hard? What is up right now?
He's like a man mountain.
And you want to climb it?
Oh my God! Stop. Anyway, so they're all upset because Harley Kiner, their boss or whatever, is gone. He's been sent to reform school, and he loves it there, and he's not coming back.
He loves it there? I don't remember them saying that. Did they say that?
Yeah, he's sent
that's messed up.
He sent a letter.
Yeah, that's messed up.
And they said that he doesn't say it, but they think he found a new gang. So, anyway, so the kid, he hits them with the ball, and they don't do anything. So like, oh, aren't you supposed to pound us, and everything? And then there's one good joke in this episode where Sean's like, let me translate, and he goes, hey, aren't you guys gonna give us a pounding or whatever? Like he does this thing, and they're still ignoring them. So they talk about how depressed they are that they haven't found somebody to.
They're lackeys without
someone to follow, without someone to lack.
They're followers, and they need somebody.
Yeah. So Feeney comes in, catches the ball, and berates them for getting a 12 and a 16 on their test.
I have never gotten a 12 or a 16.
How do you get a 12?
How? Like, they misspell their name?
How many questions were on this test for them to get a 12? I see, and 12 and 16. So it's got to divide evenly
into 4
by both. Yeah. So it's got to be like,
There's
I guess
4-point difference.
So it's 40 questions maybe. One got 2 and the other got 1.
What? No. Okay. If it's 40 points and they're
40 questions.
If it's 40 questions and we're saying it divides evenly, then it's like 10 points. No,
it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out because it's like 3 1/3 for 12 points.
Whatever it is, there's a 4-point difference between them. So it could be like 2 points a question or 4 points a question, and one of them got one or two questions more right than the other.
So if it was like a 48-point test, okay, 48 questions, 1 point each question.
Okay.
Then if you got 4 questions, that's 12. And if you got 3 questions, that's... Wait, is that right? 3 questions would be 16 points.
No.
And
Because that's less than 4. You want it to go up, not down.
Oh, yeah, it would be the other way around, right? It would be 4 points would be 16. 4
times 4 is 16, yes.
Yeah, 4... Well, it's divided by 4.
Why are we doing this?
I don't know, but anyway, it's like I just didn't know if it worked out. So it's got to be at least. I think it has to be at least a 48 point or a 48 question test.
Or I mean, it could have been 100 question test.
It could have been, but I think it has to be at least 48.
Sure. So it was a big test.
Yeah.
They obviously didn't study,
No.
as they are told multiple times throughout the episode to
They
go home
don't
and open a book.
They don't know what studying is.
They act like complete morons.
Yeah. So Feeney tells them to go open a book, like you said, and they're just like, "What? What does that mean?" You know, like they don't know, like they don't understand what a book is or how to open things.
Yeah, I mean it's really dumb. It's not a good joke.
So, what's his name? Turner, cool motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
Who we see in just a tight white undershirt for some reason.
Yes, we do.
In this episode, do you think he's attractive?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I'm glad because you think I'm attractive. So,
But he's got a terrible mullet. He's not like.
So did Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing.
He's not like.
He's still hot.
It's 1987 though. Come on.
Still hot though.
But that was a long time ago.
Okay, but it doesn't change the hotness.
Like 8 years
He
ago.
can have a bad haircut and still be hot.
But his body, like I guess that makes sense though, because he's like a thick boy. You know what I mean? Like he's not like ripped.
No.
He's not he's not like cut.
Right.
He's got he's a little thicker in the middle. He's clearly has muscle and stuff like that. But he's like. He looks like a dad, kind of. You know what I mean? Like a really in shape.
Are you saying that
like
he has a dad bod?
Like an in shape dad. A what?
A dad bod.
What does that mean?
Like a dad's body.
Oh, sure, I guess. That's an interesting phrase. I've never heard that before.
I just came up with it.
So anyway, he, but yeah, so I guess that makes sense because
Sounds like you're saying I like old men.
That is more your type. No, I'm saying that you like, you're not into like super cut guys.
No, I'm not. I think muscles are gross, like big muscles. Muscles are fine, not defined muscles though.
Yeah. So anyway, so you'd like the guy that plays Frankie, or Joey, or whichever one it is.
Oh, the replacement for
the big dude.
The big dude.
Yeah, the big dude, the one I was talking about before, the Man Mountain.
No, I don't like him. No,
but he seems strong, just like he's just like I don't know.
I don't like his face.
Tree trunk way. Okay, well I'll give that to you. So anyway, what else happens? Oh yeah, so Turner says to them, "Hey, you didn't turn in your book report or whatever. I'll give you a break. You can turn it into me at my house on Sunday by 5 o'clock."
So you think this was a big setup?
Hell yes.
Okay.
Because especially what we find out later.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he sets them up. And they say they've got to do, I think, Of Mice and Men is their book, but they don't want to read it because they're dumb. And so Corey comes up with the idea of let's just rent the movie, but not even watch the movie. Just copy the stuff from the back of the box.
Right.
And that will be our report. So he wants to plagiarize the back of a movie, a VHS from Blockbuster.
Dumb. So dumb. Why don't they get the book and plagiarize the back of the book?
Yeah.
Come on, people.
At the same time, their dad has got 2 tickets to some water park, and he's insisting that the older brother take Corey with. Please stop.
Eric.
Eric takes Corey with them to the water park.
Yep.
And he doesn't want to. He wants to take some chick.
So the reason he's telling me to please stop, FYI, is because he's shaking his leg like a maniac.
I like
shaking the whole floor. Like my butt is vibrating, which is not entirely unpleasant, but a little unsettling. And I keep putting my foot on his foot to tell him to stop.
But it's comfortable to do this. When my foot's in this position, it's like it just wants to do it on its own. And you tell me to stop, and it's like I gotta concentrate on not doing it, and I can't concentrate on telling the people what we want to tell them.
I will do my best to continue to concentrate on the show and not my vibrating chair.
Yeah, you could use a vibrating chair for some of these episodes. The low energy that you give.
Hey.
What?
Excuse me?
Excuse you. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
And your vibrating chair.
Whatever.
So Eric Matthews says that he gives his ticket to a chick and says, hey, let's go to this water park. And then he goes up to Eric and says, or goes up to Corey and says, I want your ticket to the water park. And if you don't give it to me, I'll tell mom and dad that you're cheating on your thing by renting a movie or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, you're a bastard. So Frankie and Joey see this and they're like, hey, this is the guy. This is our guy that we're gonna follow. So they start following him and they start dressing like him.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, because
I didn't realize he was such a bad dresser until I saw it on them. You know?
Yeah, because he's a good looking kid, so he can get away with some of this stuff. But yeah, untucked button up shirt with khaki pants and a sweater draped across. It's just, it looks terrible.
He looks like he should be at the, or they look like they should be at like some like golf club, sipping tea and.
It's how 50-year-old writers, producers, and directors think that 16-year-old boys dress.
Right.
That's what it is.
There you go.
Well, he's preppy, so he should dress. He should dress like Bill. My 45-year-old friend from the club.
Yeah, it's no good.
So anyway,
they look like creamsicles.
Oh my god, they do. Anyway, so I just thought about you licking a creamsicle. So anyway, they start following him around, and he's like, I don't want this. Get away from me.
Right?
He doesn't want lackeys.
I wouldn't either. They're creepy.
So he's trying to figure out what to do. Meanwhile, there's a new guy in town named Griff.
Yeah.
Played by, I looked up his name in TV Guide because I don't know, he looked somewhat familiar to me for some reason. I don't know why, but the actor's name, I wrote it down here, is Adam Scott. Two first names, which is not great,
Right.
I don't really trust people with two first names. No. But
what's your name again? Mark Phillips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's two first names.
What?
Well, there's an S on
How many Phillipses do you know?
Philip is a first name.
It's Phillips Thomas.
Philip is a first name.
Yeah.
Mark
but my last name isn't Philip.
So you think the S just changes things?
Yes.
Whatever.
Like Adams.
Uh-huh.
John Adams is not someone with two first names.
I disagree.
Adam is a first name, but Adams is not a first name.
Okay. No, I mean...
You dick.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. It's not a great last name.
Whatever. Anyway, it's not a great last name. What are you talking about? You're saying my name is not a great last name?
I mean, I think that if we were ever to get married, I might keep mine. Just saying.
Wow.
Well, I mean, come on. Carol Collins, Cece, it flows. And you got Phillips, like the screwdriver. Uh-oh, I think I struck a nerve, people. He's like just shaking his head at me and looking at me like with that look. Okay, you can't give me the silent treatment on our show. Come on.
Anyway, this dude plays Griffin. Griff. And he is the new troublemaker in school. It's very clear that he's a Harley replacement.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to the actor that played Harley, but I don't know, maybe he's dead.
It's hilarious, though, when he comes in, like, the guidance counselor is talking to him, right?
Feeney is.
I thought, no, it's the guidance counselor at first, I thought. No?
No, he's in Feeney's office.
Okay. So Feeney's talking to him, and he's like, oh, based on your record, I would have expected somebody totally different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're so polite and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then he actually walks in and is like, oh, hey, thanks. I knew I wouldn't make it on time. And he paid somebody to come in for his meeting.
Right.
And then he sends him to go take a class for him.
Yeah, and the secretary's all fawning over him and everything.
Yeah.
All the girls like him for some reason.
Yeah. He's a nice-looking kid.
I guess.
I'm glad we don't have the same taste in men. Sorry. Apparently, I shouldn't rip on you at all. So, you were saying about Feeney in the office and stuff.
Nothing. I wasn't saying anything about him. I was correcting your misinformation about it.
Okay.
Guidance counselor.
Okie dokie.
So, anyway, he, what's his name? Eric? Eric introduces them and basically says, hey, here's your guy, right? And he also says, I don't want lackeys. You know, it's going to cramp my style. So this dude comes up from who's apparently on the football team or something like that. And he's like, hey, you've been talking to my girlfriend or whatever. And he's like, yeah, you know, I have. And they stand up, Frankie and Joey, and they're like, hey, you know, what's the problem here? And he's like, hey, this is between him and me. And, you know, the big one, Frankie or Joey, whichever his name is,
right?
He moves him out of the way and is like, no, we're between you and him. So he realizes the advantage of having these two, you know, with him. So that, you know, that becomes a thing, apparently. And Eric is freed. Meanwhile,
which works out much better.
Meanwhile, Corey and Sean come to Turner's house, and where we get to see him, you know, in the undershirt, and he said, so like, he's reading. I think it's Sean's. He's like, of mice and men, you know, something, whatever, like tale of friendship, you know, in class, set in the backdrop of the Great Depression. He kind of looks like impressed for a second. He's like, beautifully acted. Like, they're just so dumb.
Right?
Beautifully acted, great cinematography or something like that, whatever.
Like, they should be riding the short bus.
Oh, yeah.
They are not acting like they belong in middle school.
Yeah. And Corey, or Sean, or Hunter, yeah, Sean, says 2 thumbs up, indicating that he understands what a movie review is. But not how it differs from a book review, apparently.
Right.
So anyway, he just kind of shakes his head and puts him on the pile, and he's like, you know, I'm getting ready for a date, so give me a minute. I'm going to go in the other room suspiciously for a long period of time, just to take another shirt out of the closet.
Right.
They're looking around, and they notice his lesson plan. There's a pop quiz next week. And exactly what chapters the pop quiz is going to cover. You know, like a lesson plan.
Right.
So, you know, the key word being lesson. So they think that they've stumbled upon some secret code that tells them what exactly is going to be on the test. So they go and read the book, chapters 8 and then 10 through 12. And they come into the test knowing exactly, totally prepared, knowing exactly what's going to happen. They got number 2 pencils and everything that they're handing out to people, which apparently it did seem like it was a surprise to everyone else, which seems
is unfair.
Unfair completely. So anyway, they get a 96 and a 94 on the test, But Corey is so guilt-ridden over the fact that they, quote, cheated,
By studying.
that they confess to him. And he's like, hey, idiots. That's how school works. That's the assignment. That's been the assignment for 2 weeks. So they did 2 weeks worth of studying in a day, basically, too.
Yeah.
He's like, that's been the assignment for 2 weeks. You know, I want you to know what's going to be on the test. Like,
Yeah.
where I'm not after you. You know, I don't want you to fail. So he's like, you can get, you know, A's all the time, you know, if you do this again.
You just read the homework.
So then they're like, oh, we get it. So we're going to open a book or whatever. And Feeney comes in and he's like, so, you know, you heard what he said and you're going to open a book. He's like, oh, yeah. Talking right to us. So then Feeney says, oh, well, I guess we said $20. And he gives him $20 because I made a bet. So that's why I know it was a setup.
Right.
Because he bet him.
Okay.
So, yeah, that is the episode of that.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Not great.
No, they're dumb.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Yep.
I hate them as characters.
I want to bash their heads into lockers. Like, they deserve to be shoved in lockers.
Eric was better.
Yeah.
Griff was weird, but
Yeah.
I like Harley better.
Well, Harley's gone. So
Not that I
to
watch
make your
this
peace
much,
with
but
Griff.
I like Harley better. But anyway, although I like the actor a little bit, like I said, seems like an interesting guy.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't stop. Nobody wants to hear that. No one wants to hear it.
What?
Exactly.
Huh?
So we watched Outbreak.
Yeah, your turn.
That's my turn now, huh?
It's your turn to go through the plot of what we watched, yes. That's how this works. You either do the TV and I do the movies, or I do the TV and you do the movies.
Well, usually
You let me do the
I
heavy
TV.
lifting on the TV. Yeah, because usually it's my so-called life, which you like, but that show has been destroyed.
I miss it so much. Anyway.
We're writing our own screenplays.
We went and saw Outbreak, and I loved it. It was amazing, and it was
fine.
It was sad though.
Only for the races that you cared about.
What is wrong with you?
I pointed out something to Carol that she was not happy about.
Anyway, so it starts out in 1967 in Zimbabwe? Zaire. And there's a village that has this hemorrhagic
Yeah, hemorrhagic.
disease.
Right.
And the military has sent their disease specialist people to check it out. And they're
Should not be filmed because we can't make Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington look like young men. So their masks just cover their face completely, and we'll use their voices.
They're highly recognizable voices.
Yeah.
So they go down and they're talking
It
to.
was 1967,
You said you wanted me to do it.
and there was a disease. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that was not good.
Oh, fuck you!
They go down. They're talking to the. I don't know, the leader of the village. I don't know what to call him. Because he's not the medicine man, because the medicine man is up on the mountain, chanting and stuff.
Yeah, nothing ever came from that, by the way.
Yeah, it seemed like there would be, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And
The chief.
he's telling them, all the stuff that they need.
I think he was just their medical person.
Yeah, the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he explains how they got it. That one of the villagers had gone to help the white men build a road, and he came back sick, and drank from the well.
Yeah.
And then everybody got sick.
Right.
And he's basically said, "You're too late. The village is dead."
Right.
And so they said, "We'll get you everything you need." And they talked to one of the soldiers. There's soldiers there, right?
Yes, American soldiers.
Yeah. Which
Apparently
is, I guess, why they're there and why the American, military is there. But yeah, they don't really explain why there's military soldiers there.
Yeah, in the run up to Vietnam, apparently we had a military operation in Zaire. I'm not familiar with this, but
so, and he's saying, we'll get you home, soldier. It's gonna be fine. We just need a little blood. And so they take his blood, and then instead of dropping supplies, they drop bombs and just get rid of the whole
Oh,
village.
yeah, they totally fucking destroy the entire village and vaporize it.
Yeah. So that's no good. And then it goes to present day. And you got Dustin Hoffman and what's the actress?
Stop doing that.
Who's the
I
actress?
can hear that. Renee Russo.
Renee Russo. And they apparently like worked together in this position. Like he was her boss.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Army's disease control, though. I know there's a name for it, but I don't know what the name for it is. It's not the CDC, because that's where she's going.
CDC is a civilian organization.
Right. But it's like the CDC for the military.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's USMAID or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So they were on a team together, and they're getting divorced, and she's leaving.
Yeah, she's done with him.
And they never tell us why, which I think is good.
He's a cold prick.
Right. Because it's easier to, like, root for them and not take sides because you have no idea what happened.
Yeah. Well, he's going through the stuff that she's packed up, and he sees all the pictures of them. He's like, "You're giving me all the pictures of us." And she goes, "Yeah, you can have them."
I don't want them.
Oh.
He's like, "I don't want them either," and throws them.
Yeah, he's pissed.
That is very hurtful.
Yeah.
Oof. So he gets called away, and she's moving to Atlanta. She has sold the house. Everything's packed up. He's dropping off the dogs.
She's going to work for the CDC?
Yeah, because she's moving to Atlanta. He's dropping off the dogs because he's going to check out a case in Zaire.
Yeah.
Again. And so she agrees to take the dogs until he gets back.
He's going to land in Kinshasa International Airport.
He has to be back by Thursday because she's leaving on Thursday. And
For
if he's
Atlanta.
not back, then she's going to take the dogs with her. This is the agreement they come to.
Yep.
He goes to Kinshasa, okay.
That's the capital of Zaire.
Okay.
And then drives apparently to this village, I assume. Yeah. By the Motaba River.
And on the way there we meet what's his name? This actor's name. I know I should know it. I think I should know it, but he's got a new guy.
Kevin Spacey?
No, Kevin Spacey's not the new guy. He's there too though.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Cuba Gooding Jr. So there's Kevin Spacey, Cuba Gooding Jr. are on the plane with him. Mm-hmm. I don't remember their actual names in the movie, so.
Yeah.
And it says Cuba Gooding Jr.'s first flight, first mission out.
It's his first mission in the field.
Right.
Seeing some kind of hemorrhagic fever. Because that's what's happening, is there's some disease that they're not sure what it is. They go through all the different levels with us, like where the camera pans through this military thing, and it's all the different levels of diseases, like low level, like flu and influenza and cold and stuff like that. And then it's moving through, more, kind of serious stuff until you get to the very most serious things. I think it's level 4 or level 5. Where Dustin Hoffman and Kevin Spacey are working, and it's like Ebola, Lassa fever, something else that I can't remember, but they're all hemorrhagic diseases.
Yeah, it's a level
fevers.
above AIDS or HIV, which is nuts to me. Like I always kind of think of that as like the worst, but apparently not.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. So they go out and they see this, and of course, new guy freaks out. Mm-hmm. They warn him not to freak out.
Yeah.
But he does.
He rips his helmet off.
Oh.
Like an asshole.
Right? Yeah, he's got a hazmat suit on, and he starts puking, though. I mean, I can't even imagine, like, puking in that suit. Of course you want to take the hood off.
And they're like, Dustin Hoffman's like, fucking quarantine him, and everything.
Isolate him. Yeah.
And then the one guy there's like, don't worry, it's not airborne. So they all take off their shit.
Right. Like, seriously?
It's like, okay, we don't need to take any precautions. Then forget it.
Like, all they have is this guy's word. What if he was, like, a,
asshole, sociopath?
Right.
So they take off their kit and everything, and then they talk about it, and he's like, oh, yeah, this is what happened. I think, actually, is this the part where they're talking about it coming from the water?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I think they don't, I think in this one, they don't, like in the original one, where it's the voices of Morgan Freeman and Donald Sutherland and not their faces.
Yeah.
I think they don't really show anything. They just show them like touring it, but they don't really say how it happened.
Right, and that's when they're dealing with soldiers, whereas this one they're dealing with the village.
Yeah, and you see
the
like
medicine man and all that stuff.
you see like monkeys and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like running around in 67. And then you see, so then they talk about how he drank from the water and then everybody got it. And it's like, okay, so like saliva, I guess, transmission, or whatever.
Bodily fluids.
Yeah, but not aerosolized.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, okay, and then he gives his report, basically saying like, I'm worried about it because it's it's bad, but it seems like it's contained, and that's generally what happens, as they point out, as Morgan Freeman points out in the movie. Generally, like, so things like the flu and the cold pass very readily, mostly because they're not very severe. They're not typically fatal.
Right.
They have a low mortality rate and everything. And their symptoms, can range, but a lot of times are fairly mild. So people will go out. People will interact with other people, even being sick, because the symptoms aren't that severe, and that allows it to pass to lots of people. When you have a really deadly disease like Ebola, thank God. Not thank God that it's deadly, but thank God this is true. When you have like Ebola or diseases like that.
Junta.
Yeah, that was another one. Yeah, they're so severe that people either can't move or don't want to move, or it's very easy to identify that they have it, and it's easy to quarantine and keep it kind of contained because of that. So it usually burns out fast. It kills, like, if it gets into like a village, like in this thing, or a small area, it's very unfortunate for the population that it's affected. But it usually burns through really fast, that area, and then dies out.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have, viruses are living things. They need human beings. They need hosts to go from, person to person in order to live. And once they kill, all the people and they don't have that, then there's nowhere for them to go. They die out.
Yeah, at one point in the movie, we're looking at it like on slides and stuff, and they're showing the progression of how quickly it moves, and it's like within like 48 hours, it's already like destroyed everything and it's looking for a new host. That's insane.
Yeah, it's very fast. Yeah, I think like it's like 8 hours. It's like destroyed an entire kidney.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, this is the thing is, like, it's frightening to think about, but, I mean, it's definitely not reality. Like, nothing like this exists. There are things like Ebola and Junta and stuff, that are similar to this Motaba. That's what they're calling it.
Yeah.
But it's not really like this.
No, and like I said, something that goes this fast would be much more easily contained.
Right.
But anyway, they say the mortality rate's 100%.
Yeah, I've never heard those words.
So if you get it, you die.
Right.
There's it kills everyone that gets it.
I mean, HIV.
Yeah, but even that, like, that's one of those things where, so HIV is is a retrovirus, which is a little different than a normal virus. As far as how it works, it behaves a little like cancer in a way, as opposed to like just a normal virus. So there's differences. There's variability to lifespan with HIV.
Right.
So HIV is universally fatal, but at least as far as we know right now it is. But it could kill someone as quickly as a number of months, or other people could live for years with it. It's similar to cancer in that way, that there's no like definitive timetable. It's variable.
Right. Well, and the thing is, though, it does have a mortality rate of 100%. It's just variable how long it takes. Whereas cancer does not have a mortality rate of 100%. People do get better from it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
Just saying. Anyways, in the movie, so he goes back to the United States. He's talking to his boss, who is played by Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
telling him, this is like, even on the way there, he's like dictating, like, this is the scariest son of a bitch I've ever seen, and he's like trying to get him to send out alerts to the public about it. And his boss is explaining, it's contained. If it goes that fast, we don't need to worry about it over here. We're not going to cause a panic. We're not going to do this.
Right.
And then he goes to get his dogs from his ex-wife. And I find it so weird that she's like raging at him because it's Friday. And she was supposed to leave on Thursday. And she waited for him to come back because he was coming to get the dogs. But then she takes the dogs.
Yeah. Was it like you've got till Thursday, and if you don't, then they're my dogs?
I don't understand. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it's really weird. It doesn't really come up. It's just another thing for them to fight about. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, it seemed more like she was waiting to say goodbye to him than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sad. It was sad watching them leave each other.
Meanwhile, the guy from Can't Buy Me Love decided that he's going to import, or is going to steal a monkey from a ship that's coming from Africa, from around the village where this disease was taken.
Patrick Dempsey.
Okay. Yeah, I remember him from Can't Buy Me Love. Yeah. Anyway, in some movie where he's delivering pizzas.
Yeah.
Extra anchovies.
Yeah, I remember it, but I can't remember the name of it either.
Like Special Delivery or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, he's just fucking wives. Fucking, moms.
Yeah.
If they ask for extra anchovies. He's a man whore.
He is.
Anyway, so he's decided that he can make some money by selling monkeys or selling African animals or whatever. So he's got some kind of deal with this dude on a ship.
Rudy. Oh, no. Sorry. On a ship.
Yeah, he's got some deal with this guy, South Korean dude on a ship, that where he can take the monkey or whatever for money. Anyway, so he smuggles it out of there. He goes to the pet shop, and the dude is like, "Hey, that's a female. I asked for a male. The guy I'm looking for has a female. He's trying to breed them. This is not going to work. I mean,
Right.
Maybe it would be super hot monkey porn." But it's not going to produce an heir, or whatever.
Yeah, so he's stuck. Like, he has this monkey. He doesn't want to take it home. Mm-hmm. So he releases it into the
woods.
forest, which, and he's like...
Go to the Northern California woods, African monkey, and make a home.
It's insane. Like, I mean, he may as well just killed it.
Yeah.
Ugh. And it's sad, like, it actually runs back into the cage when he tries to release it. Like, that monkey's smart.
Yeah.
He knows that he doesn't want to go out there.
Mm-hmm.
But,
What's he going to eat out there?
Yeah. Oh, it's sad. It really made me angry. And so then he gets on the flight home. And by the time he gets home, which is Cedar Creek, right?
Yeah.
No.
Boston,
yeah.
Yeah, he goes to Boston.
By the time he gets home to Boston, he is like looking like death warmed over. Even on the plane, he took a bite of a cookie and a little boy almost grabbed his cookie. Like, what? Who would eat after this man? He looks like he's dying.
Yeah, the mom saved this kid.
Right.
But yeah, he looks like, if you've ever seen that episode of The Twilight Zone with not Sean Connery, with William Shatner, where there's a gremlin on the side of the wing of the plane. He looks like that, but worse. Because he's all sweaty and like bundled up, and yeah, he looks terrible. He comes home, gets off the plane, his girlfriend's there to meet him, and just like the most intense, like deep tongue kiss from this dude that looks fucking awful. He looks like he has typhus and AIDS at the same time.
It is just disgusting to watch. And she even kind of like licks him.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like,
there's no way in hell.
Your mucus tastes wonderful.
And then, like, when they're done making out, the room starts spinning like he's going to pass out, and she's screaming for help. It's like that fast. If he goes from kissing her to like, I'm going to pass out that fast, obviously she should have taken a minute to look at him and not do that. Ugh.
So they end up in the hospital where they both die.
Yeah. Side by side, little bubble tent things.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of sweet, actually.
Yeah. And then, what's her, like, the Renee Russo's character? is trying to get information. She's out there investigating for the CDC, and the guy can't talk. She's standing there while he dies. Mm-hmm. Like, he tries to tell her. She's like, were you in touch with any animals? But you can't understand him. And then the girlfriend hears the beep and knows that he's died. Mm-hmm. And she's screaming. Because, I mean, it was obvious she really digs this guy.
Plus, she probably thinks she's also going to die.
True. And she's like, Jimbo, oh my God. And she's crying. And she's like, hey.
Could he look less like a Jimbo, by the way?
Right? Can you tell me, do you know if he was around any animals or how he got sick? Like, seriously? Leave her alone.
And she's just screaming.
Right.
She does an autopsy where she says that it looks like a bomb went off inside him. Ugh. Doesn't sound good. So they both die. And they think that's kind of the end of it. She calls Dustin Hoffman, and he's like, oh, did he recently come back from Africa? He's trying to find out, like, he's trying to trace it from this village to, how it could made its way to the United States. And it looks like, this is when they do the time lapse of how long it takes. You see they do a blow up. It's a headshot of the virus, everything. And like, this is the Motaba virus and whatever. And Dustin Hoffman's like, well, this is good though, because we'll know it moves so fast in 24 hours, as long as no one else is sick, we'll know that everything's cool.
Right.
At the same time, the guy, at the hospital, the one guy's doing, he's like checking blood and everything, and for some reason the blood's in the centrifuge. He decides, I'm just going to open the centrifuge and not look at anything that's going on. So then all the blood gets sprayed all over him.
He just drops it and it splashes.
And that's the thing, is like, as he correctly points out, no one's saying like, what if there's Motaba in here, because no one knows what that is yet. But he's like, what about it, like HIV or like, he's like, we're testing the blood, making sure, he's like, I'm sure there was nothing, like terrible in it or whatever. But it's like, yeah, there are other things to worry about. Like, you could get hepatitis. You could, there's
so many things.
Yeah, there's so many blood-borne illnesses that getting sprayed in your orifices with a ton of blood from different people who are in the hospital, by the way, meaning they're probably sick.
Right.
It's not a good thing. So, yeah, maybe this dude should be paying attention.
Yeah, he was watching television.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know why they would allow a television in that room.
This movie is just about incompetence.
Yeah.
Now everyone's incompetent.
But he's like, I don't want to give anything to my girlfriend. And then the next thing you see is he's sitting next to his girlfriend in a movie theater, and he looks like hell. And
he's coughing all over the place. Another dude just fucking going out, being sick.
Yep. Stay in your houses when you're sick, people.
So he falls down and dies basically in the movie theater. Or they bring him in the thing, and yeah, then it starts breaking out from there, right?
Yeah, like everyone who was in the movie theater shows up in the ER, like quickly, and then Dustin Hoffman's character is being told to forget about this. Don't worry. Like, they're in the process of like mapping the thing and like figuring all out. He's like, we're gonna have a vaccine for it and blah blah blah, and
yeah, because it turns out apparently, and this comes up in the movie, that obviously Morgan Freeman and Donald Sutherland knew about this. They're generals now, and they knew about this way back in '67.
Well, they made the call to blow it up.
Yeah. And they apparently have been working on, or, completed or whatever, some sort of serum against Motaba. But they don't want to release it because it's a perfect biological weapon that they have the cure for that nobody else does.
So,
basically.
Yeah, so they're just being assholes. And they're trying to keep him from figuring anything out. Or
Cold War's over, by the way, guys.
Right.
Like, what do we need this for?
Right. So
we're at war with no one.
They send him to New Mexico to look at something else. I don't remember.
Well, they want to send him to New Mexico to look at the first case of Hunta, I think.
Yeah.
In New Mexico.
And instead of going there, he shows up with the CDC, with his ex-wife.
Well, he lies and basically to the military guy and says, like, hey, I'm supposed to be going here or whatever. call him and check and make sure. And the guy goes to call and he's like, wait, no, don't do that. It's 2:00 in the morning. Don't fucking wake him up. You better not. You're gonna, he's gonna kill you if you do. Just do it on my orders. I'm a colonel. Let's go.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, he is a colonel. I mean,
yeah. So he goes and he's like helping her, and he figures out because someone says, "Hey, there's a guy who was in a car accident who was here before any of these sick people came in on another floor."
Right.
And he has it.
Yep.
So he figures out that it became airborne.
Yeah, somehow.
Which is another one of the ways that this movie is a horror movie and not just a thriller. I mean, It's very fantastical. That does not happen.
Yeah, I pointed that out.
Yeah.
The whatever, when new viruses or any kind of viruses, they appear, whatever their form of transmission is, that's what it is. Like, the CDC, the government, nobody has ever witnessed a disease changing its form of transmission. I mean, there are diseases that have multiple forms of transmission, but no one's ever observed a virus, doing a new form of transmission that it hasn't done before. So if something's not airborne, like AIDS is not an airborne disease, HIV is not an airborne disease, it will never be an airborne disease. Apparently, that's something that viruses just don't have the ability to do.
Which I guess is kind of comforting.
Yeah.
So now it's like terrifying though, because like everyone is getting it. Everybody.
Yeah.
This whole town. It's a small town.
Yep.
But the whole town's getting sick. So it gets brought to the President of the United States. There's like a committee in Washington voting as how to handle it because they want to just do what they did in the very beginning and bomb it.
Yeah, they want to bomb this town that's got this disease and vaporize everyone.
And the president agrees.
Well, I mean, Donald Sutherland goes there and he's like, hey, here are the projections. If it gets out, everyone in the country will die.
Within like a few days.
Yeah. Like basically, since it transmits so easily and its mortality rate is 100%, I mean, it's worst case scenario for disease. Then basically it's like, okay, so it will 100% kill every human being on the planet.
Do you think something like that could have happened to the dinosaurs?
No.
Okay.
I think it was an asteroid.
So, he gives the order for that to go because he doesn't have all the information. He doesn't know that there's a serum.
Right.
But Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, not his son.
And Morgan Freeman know this, and they're still willing to let all these people die.
Mm-hmm.
So dumb.
Yeah, and fucked up.
And they're saying to arrest, what's his name?
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, to arrest him on sight.
Not his character, but the actor Dustin Hoffman.
Yes.
Arrest him.
Yeah.
Tootsie wasn't as good as we were led to believe.
But he and Cuba Gooding Jr. Take off in a helicopter.
Yep.
And which you said that you knew as soon as they mentioned that he'd
they ran down his resume and they were like
pilot.
They were like, oh, you fly a helicopter, and I was like, oh, that's Chekhov's helicopter. That's coming up for sure.
So he did. He flew them out of there, and they go and land. Not even land. He can't land on it, but go to a ship that they had heard had given a monkey.
Yeah, well, they find... Okay, so...
I'm sorry. It's pretty convoluted.
They go to the records office in San Francisco, I believe it's in, of these ships. And they're comparing the manifest that they have, the manifest from when they landed, to the manifest that the company has of what they're supposed to be bringing over, right? I don't know what company this is that's just bringing animals. I don't know if they were, maybe they were a medical research company or something like that.
That would make sense.
I don't know. But anyway, so they find an anomaly, one missing monkey. And they find out what boat it is. So then they fly over to the boat, which is at sea.
And he can't land on the boat, so like they have to like jump from the plane onto the boat.
Dustin Hoffman does, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously not
Cuba Gooding Jr. So he's talking to the people that barely speak English because they're Japanese, or well, they're whatever. I mean, the one dude's South.
Wow.
The one dude's South Korean, I assume, because he has the South Korean flag. But they might not all be South Korean.
Right.
Anyway, so they, they're like, oh, monkey and stuff like that. He's like, oh, yeah. So they take him to, and he says, like, I'm a doctor, disease. And they take him to the freezer where this one dude's dead. The guy that was playing with the monkey at the beginning of the movie. And he's like, I want to see his quarters and everything. So he's looking at his quarters. And for some reason, I don't know how this happened, but he has a picture of the monkey for, like just a picture of the monkey sitting
like
there.
Like a pinup girl.
And then a picture of him with the monkey on his shoulder. Like, I don't know how he got this fucking picture, and where he developed this film. But the whole thing's so weird. But anyway, so, and like, if he cared this much about this monkey, why did he sell it to some, like, unscrupulous Can't Buy Me Love actor? But anyway, so he, he's like, oh, okay, here's the monkey, or whatever. And then they fly to a news station and say, hey, we've identified what the host animal is. It's a monkey. It looks exactly like this. And then the mom...
It looks like Marcel, by the way, from, no. Okay, never mind.
And then the mom of this little girl decides, or sees it, and she's like, oh, that's like a picture that my daughter drew of a monkey that she says visits her. So she calls the number, and then they go there basically. Yeah. Meanwhile, Kevin Spacey has got the disease because, like an idiot, he walks too far from his tether.
I don't think
rips his suit.
I don't think he's being an idiot. I think that
poorly built suit.
Yeah. I mean, he's just moving around doing his job.
So then Rene Russo touches him for some reason.
Touches him? No, she's drawing his blood.
Oh, yeah. And
then he has a seizure because his temperature is like 106.
Yeah, that's right.
And she gets poked with the needle that she had drawn his blood with.
Yep, you're right.
And then, like, Sam, that's his name. Sam is Dustin Hoffman's character.
Okay.
Is, they're with her when this happens, and so, like, she runs and she's, like, scrubbing it off and stuff, and he's, like, it's, like, just, like, the helplessness. He's trying to save her. He's, like, trying to redo everything she did. She's like, I did it, and, oh, they're both just freaked out.
Yeah, so, I don't know. What happens after that? So she gets it, they go, they find that they get this monkey. They're able to make some serum from the monkey's antibodies and start curing people. And
so then they go up in the plane.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because Donald Sutherland, like you said, they're going to destroy this town. So that's what, that's what they're doing. They're going to bomb this town.
So, but they're, like, Donald Sutherland's character is in one of these planes. He can hear them. They're saying, hey, we have the host animal. We're going to be able to make, a cure. Mm. Don't bomb these people. And he's telling the pilots to ignore them and continue on. Why? It's like he's got, like, a bug up his butt to murder these people. I don't understand.
It's really weird.
I mean, he didn't even have to let anybody know he already had a serum.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, they could just go, oh, cool, they saved the day. But he won't do that. So then Billy, that's Morgan Freeman's character, gets he's hearing him. He's hearing him on the channels, and he's saying, "Hey, if you care about this, you do something." And he says something to get through to him. So he grabs the thing and he says, "If you keep doing this and you get in their way so that they can't drop the bomb, then, you're going to be in trouble." Like, trying to act like he's not telling him how to do it, but he's totally telling him how to stop it.
Right.
So he stops them from dropping the bomb. And then the pilots, like, you could tell they believe him. So they go over the water and drop the bomb, and then they're like, "Oh, wind must have carried it off course." So,
Right.
So yeah, then it has the happy ending where everybody gets saved.
Yeah, exactly.
And it ends too, like with Rene Russo's character getting the serum,
Mm-hmm.
and he's there with her, and he takes his stuff off and touches her and everything, and
Before they know that the serum is going to be there.
because he's basically like, "I love you so much, I don't want to live without you." So if she's gonna die, he's gonna die,
Yeah.
which is just like so touching and stupid, but touching.
Yeah.
And he asks about, like, I don't know, they do this like play on words where he's saying, you know, would you do it again? And it's like a double entendre because he's asking about, you know, getting sick and doing all this, and but he's also asking, would you be with me again? And she's like, well, you know, now that I've, you know, got the vaccine or whatever, so I think they're gonna get back together, don't you?
I guess, yeah.
But then, you know, it kind of sucks because she's got, well, you know, maybe he'll go work for her at the CDC because I'm sure he's gonna be fired.
Yeah, probably. Court-martialed.
Right. But it was a really good movie.
Although they do arrest Donald Sutherland, so who knows?
Oh yeah, that's right. Because it's like mutiny, basically, because he's. They said they're arresting him for withholding information from the president.
Yeah, which I don't know is a crime, but whatever.
But I mean, in the end, he's basically trying to murder like thousands of people, so
Yeah.
it's got to be some kind of crime.
Yeah, I would imagine that is. But yeah, that's the movie. It was fine. You know, there were elements of it that I thought were a little unbelievable, but for the most part, it was a good movie.
I really enjoyed it. I liked that, you know, it made you care about the characters and
A star-studded cast for sure.
Yeah.
Thank God that, you know, something like that won't happen in the United States. Like,
Yeah.
you know, a terrible disease like this that's got everybody freaked out, you know. Hopefully that never happens.
Hopefully, I wouldn't say with such confidence. I mean, you never know. Nobody's invincible.
Yeah. Well, you know, if it's airborne, I'm telling you, it's one of those things.
Okay, well, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Well, yeah. But anyway, so if you ever get sick, stay at home and wash your hands at least 20 seconds, you morons.
Yeah, stay at home and wash your hands, people.
Anyway, so we will end this week as we end every week, even though we don't end every week like this anymore, with our Blockbuster Pick of the Week. Carol, this week at Blockbuster is a movie I'm sure you would be interested in seeing.
Okay.
It's called A Simple Twist of Fate.
Oh, tell me about it, because I've never heard of this movie.
It stars Steve Martin.
Okay.
It's loosely based on the movie Silas Marner, or not the movie, the book Silas Marner by George Eliot. But basically, you know, it's Gabriel Byrne's in it, Laura Linney, Catherine O'Hara, Stephen Baldwin, along with Steve Martin, and it's the story of Steve Martin's character. He discovers that his wife. I'll just give you the setup because I don't want to ruin the movie. But the setup of the movie is he discovers that his wife is pregnant with his best friend's child.
Ooh, that's rough.
So he divorces her and moves to rural Virginia to make furniture. After a few years, he discovers a female toddler, wandering around his property, who is the daughter of a heroin addict whose car broke down, like, you know, a few miles from his house. And he, you know, takes her in and everything. That's the setup for the movie. And then, you know, everything kind of, you know, goes from there.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I would watch that.
But yeah, it's a good one. So if you you know, if you are going up to Blockbuster and you're looking for a movie, check it out.
If you you know, can get there before me.
A Simple Twist of Fate, Steve Martin. But that is it. Carol, why don't you take us home?
So go ahead and write us at latefee1994@aol.com. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want. And tell your friends.
All right, we will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.